Roberts, we are back at it again. How's everybody doing? So, this next video I think is kind of sad, important, and a basic showing of I told you so. For those of you that don't know, I say I told you so a lot. If that bothers you, I'm totally fucking good with that because I have every right to. I've been right about a lot of public health matters in the last 6 years and even before. And I've got like a natural gift for predicting how shit's going to go. So a few years ago, I started saying that, one of the reasons why all of a sudden they're pushing to make everybody think that obesity is genetic and there's nothing they can do about it is because they now have a profit engine for it. Like everybody grasped that, right? Like the very second that that they came out with Novo Nordisk came out with Ozempic and Wegovy and all that stuff, like everybody realizes that the press was going to be for obesity, right? But they have been coddling obese people for so long in our society that they couldn't tell them, like, hey, you're fat and it's your fault. And that also would make it seem like, they could take personal responsibility and lose the weight without the drugs. Instead, they had to convince all these people that it's genetics and we have a drug to fix you, like ignoring, hundreds of thousands of years of evolutionary knowledge and shit like that. Like, if you think that being fat as fuck, like America getting fat as fuck in the last 40 or 50 fucking years is because of your genetics mean you're fucking stupid. Like genetically, you're dumb as fuck. People saying like, it's my genetics. Where were these genetics before 1970 or even 1980? Where the fuck were they? Like, it's this weird mixture of people not realizing what they're fucking saying to try to defend their fucking actions. But like, if you're also making the argument that like, I'm just genetically fat, you're literally making the argument why nobody should ever have sex with you, because why take the chance of having a child that is going to be genetically fat, which is genetically unhealthy, because being fat is in fact 100% of the time unhealthy, and everybody motherfucking knows it. No matter how we try to fucking make people think like you're fine at 300 pounds. No, the fuck you're not. If you're a 300-pound woman, you are in incredible danger. Your body is not functioning the way it should be. If you're a 250-pound woman, unless you're very, extremely, super tall, and even then, you're still fat and in trouble. Like, women do not have the bone structure to be that big. 90% of men, like the majority of men, the average man should weigh about 165, 170 pounds. But the average male weighs 200 pounds right now. The average male is obese. The average woman is obese. Average is obese. And I've been saying it for a long time. And I've also been talking about how we should use waist to height ratio, or at least waist circumference, because waist circumference and waist to height ratio is more radically predictive than even BMI. And although BMI does have its issues, BMI on a population level basis when it comes to data and correlation is so incredibly good. It's wild. Waist to height ratio just happens to be better because waist to height ratio happens to capture people that have visceral obesity, but are still at a normalized weight, right? And they can also exclude people who might be in the overweight or even obese category. If they have a healthy waist to height ratio, they're normally pretty healthy. It just means they have a lot of muscle or a very large frame. So these are the factors that everybody should be thinking about, right? Is obesity in of itself is honestly just a term. But if we calculated by waist to height ratio, it would probably be, and I've said this for years, and all of you guys can go back and check, but I've said this for a long time, that would probably be 60 to 70% of the population would be considered obese. And maybe another 10, 15% would just be overweight. And then there's a very small percentage, likely under like 7% of people, that are of a healthy waist to height ratio and healthy weight. Like very small percentage of people. The average, again, is obese in America. Believe me, the statistics argue that I'm right. And also, I've been to Walmart. I think you have too. And that argues that you're right. But this is Dr. Shawn Baker, right? And I did a long video on this already. Me and Dr. Alan Chen talked about this. But this is Shawn Baker. And he points out the things I've always been saying, is that now they will classify everybody as obese. It's the same thing as like how they'll classify everybody as ADHD, or they'll classify everybody as having some sort of mental illness or depression. If they can sell a drug because of it, everybody will fucking have it. Like, everybody will fucking have it. We give SSRIs to people who have medium and mild depression when we know they don't actually work for these people. They still get prescribed, oftentimes by their general practitioner, somebody that has no mental health training at all, which is this. They don't. You're a pill farm, all of you. Like they want you on as many drugs as possible. They don't want you happy and thriving. They want you fat, sick, weak, and dependent upon them. And the evidence is everywhere. But let's listen to Dr. Shawn Baker. Had him on before. Respect this man greatly. He's probably the father of the carnivore diet. I believe he's the one who gave it the name, the carnivore diet. Just so everybody grasps real quick. He is an orthopedic surgeon, so it's not like he's not a doctor. I always get these people like they come at me like, "Are you a doctor?" Like, no, but I defeat doctors in debate fairly regularly about this topic and about obesity, lifestyle, and about COVID fairly fucking regularly. If you know a doctor out there that would like to debate me on any of those topics, tell them to fucking step on up, and I will gladly fucking make them look like fools and embarrass them and make people distrust doctors even more, because we shouldn't trust them at all. Trusting your doctor is a stupid fucking statement. Your doctor should not just have your trust. Your doctor should be able to earn your trust with every word they fucking say. But let's get it. Dr. Shawn Baker, here we go.
How stupid do they think we are? So recently,
To answer your question, Shawn, they think everybody's very fucking stupid. Very. And that's because, Shawn, and I know you don't like to think about this way, because Shawn is an inordinately sweet dude. He's a very nice man. Like people tend to not realize that, but with my interview with him, I thought he was an inordinately nice man. But they want people fat and sick, weak, Shawn. Like they want them, and they are stupid. Most people are incredibly dumb. I would argue that the average IQ in America is pretty fucking low.
New panel has come out to recommend changes in the way we define obesity, the so-called Lancet Foundation for Diabetes and Endocrinology, and this is supposed to be a independent panel free of influence.
Yeah, an independent panel free of influence. By the way, I've had multiple endocrinologists as clients because that's how fucking good our weight loss program is. Because 40% of our clientele are doctors and nurses, like endocrinologists, surgeons. Because they're not taught how to stay healthy. They're taught how to fix and repair shit and give out drugs. And if I'm offending a doctor out there, try to argue against me. Like if you're in the medical field, and by me saying you're not qualified to treat metabolic syndrome because you are not taught anything about it in school, like doctors are taught very little about how to actually treat metabolic. They know almost nothing about it. They know almost nothing about how it comes about. I've had an attending endocrinologist be my client and never heard the word berberine before. Berberine, for those of you that don't know, is one of the active ingredients in alchemy, but it has been in human clinical trials, many of them, to be shown to be more effective for women with PCOS than metformin, and just as effective for other things like glucose regulation as metformin. It's an over-the-counter supplement that outperforms metformin, which is a very dangerous drug to take long term. Like 20% of people that are on metformin have such debilitating muscle pain that they can't stay on it. It's like these are all realities. Berberine, maybe 1 out of 10,000 people have a little bit of gastric upset with it because there's something about it that doesn't suit their system well. But beyond that, it's extremely well tolerated.
That defines obesity in a new way. We've been using BMI for damn near 100 years, and it's always been BMI 30 equals obese. Now, there are problems with that, no doubt, but they've redefined it using body fat distribution, and now they say that instead of 40% of Americans being obese, we now have 70% of Americans are now obese, and guess what?
Now, I do agree with that, actually. Again, I do absolutely agree. When you look at the way that almost everybody is shaped like Homer Simpson, including the women, I would argue that that's pretty characteristic. I do think we're 70% obesity, but this is also a reason why they basically were able to lock the country down over the threat of a cold, because most people out there are like, oh shit, I'm not healthy. Like deep down, people know it. Like it. Deep down, people know it.
What that means? Well, the panelists, the chairman of the panel, and 20 plus members of this.
Look at this. Eli Lilly, Novo Nordics, research by Novo Nordics, research and consulting for Novo Nordics, Eli Lilly, and AstraZeneca, research grants from Novo Nordics, Novo Nordics research, more Novo Nordics. This is the panel that's deciding the medical care of America. Everybody grasp this, right? Like this is the panel. I'm also going to point out, like, it's like, you know, most of these people, like, probably have cured 0 cases of diabetes, where people like Shawn Baker and I have cured many. But this is the unrestricted grants to employer, Novo Nordisk. Like, there's just a ton of them. It's all drug reps, basically, all of them. And I'm going to argue that the drugs are not. I mean, the drugs are not helping. For every person that loses 100 pounds, there's people that gain 20 pounds on these drugs. You know, like, the drugs are not working. The drugs not working because people are still leading fucked up lifestyles. People still think that they need, like, bread bread should be considered an indulgence, bitches. Like, there's no nutritional quality to bread besides it being fucking carbs. None. You know? None. Well, let's listen to the rest of what he has to say.
And all receive funding from Novo Nordisk, Eli Lilly, AstraZeneca, all these weight loss drugs. And why do you think they want to broaden the definition of obesity now, after using BMI for 100 years? Why could that be? I wonder what it is. Could it be the fact that they have a, $1 trillion drug they want to sell? Nah, it couldn't be that, right? Anyway, you guys wake the F up, man. This is absolutely insane. All of these medical indications are changing so they can sell more drugs. That's all it is, guys.
So, by the way, I'll translate it for him. By wake the F up, he means wake the fuck up. I got you, Sean. Don't worry about it. But I agree. Like, it's the same thing as how they keep lowering the standard for what triggers blood pressure medication, right? Blood pressure, when I was younger, if you had a blood pressure of 140 over 90, it was relatively normal. Now if you're over 120 over 80, you need to be on blood pressure medications. Every time they lower that standard, they add like another 30 million people onto it, right? Like, you get that. And they don't talk, and for blood pressure, they don't even talk about lifestyle changes. So it's fucked up. They just want to sell you drugs, right? They just want to sell you drugs. The reclassification, and I think he was getting to this, the reclassification makes it so that they can, have another 30% of the U.S. population that they can get insurance to pay for drugs for. Like just so people grasp it, by being marked as obese, you are marked as having a disease. By being marked as having a disease, you are being marked that insurance can help pay for it. So they will, in fact, push more drugs onto people. Be prepared for, if you guys think insurance rates are going to go up, at the beginning of the year without the Obama bullshit, if you think they're going to go up then, everybody needs to realize that we paid last year like $4.5 trillion in total healthcare burden. That was our total healthcare burden. It was right around $4.5 trillion in 2024. 2025, it's shaping up to be somewhere around 5.3 to 5.8 trillion fucking dollars. So that motherfucker will have gone up, 15 to 20%. This coming up year, everybody realizes that we're going to approach the high $6 trillion range, if not $7 trillion. It is exponentially exploding. Our healthcare system is what is going to bankrupt us. It is exponentially getting bigger. We can't afford $7 trillion in healthcare expenses as a nation. That is fucking insane. And 90% of it is from chronic and mental illness. 90 fucking percent. And a huge portion of that, probably 90% of that, is people eating to death, drinking, or eating too much, drinking too much, and smoking too much. Lifestyle-driven chronic illness that you're in fucking control of. This is not sustainable. The allopathic healthcare system has got to be dismantled. We are not a healthy race. We are not a healthy set of people. Treating everything with drugs is not helping. The allopathic healthcare industry has lost its way. They do not stick to their oath. They do not stick to the Hippocratic Oath. They do not. It is supposed to be cause no harm. If that was the case, none of these people would have ever said, take this experimental gene therapy produced by historically corrupt companies in a historically corrupt industry that has full liability protection, that was produced in a fraction of the time it would normally be taken to get any type of safety data, that was basically safety tested for like 4 fucking months. No doctor should have ever said, take this, because COVID's a fucking cold. They all fucking knew it. And if they didn't know it, that means they're just fucking ignorant anyway. Like, the medical industry is not about your health. It was never about your health at all. They want you fat, sick, weak, and dependent. Look at the shit we got going on with SNAP. We talked about this yesterday. 40-some million people are on government assistance and by the way, if they're on government assistance for food, you can guarantee that they're getting government assistance for healthcare too. Like, we cannot afford this shit. We are a country that's $37 trillion in debt. Everybody wants to say, like, America's the richest country in the world. No, the fuck we're not. We're in $37 trillion in debt. We don't have a fucking surplus. We're not rich. Like, you fucking people are crazy. If we were rich, the infrastructure wouldn't be falling down. If we weren't being fleeced, if they weren't fucking stealing our goddamn money, you know? Fucking crazy. They want you fat, sick, and weak and dependent upon them. Here's the thing. Right now, for all we know, the powers that be are flexing on the American people, showing like, hey, if we wanted to, we could starve you motherfuckers. Like, think about that. If we wanted to, we could, like, because I say this all the time. If they wanted to, most people are not prepared for what the government could do to you. The vast majority of the population is not. Because people are like, oh, they would never shut off SNAP. They're shutting off SNAP. Oh, they would never shut the power grid down. If the state of Florida unanimously voted to basically secede from the union, you don't think that the United States secede from the United States? You don't think that the United States, the federal government, would maybe shut the power grid down on them? Because I fucking think they would. The people that labeled you essential or non-essential over a fucking cold and destroyed the economy one more time over a fucking cold, wrecked the development of a generation of children over a fucking cold that was less deadly to children than fucking a cold, basically. If you don't think those people will fuck you over just to prove a point, like right now, there's 40-some million people about on November 1st that are about to be shown that they're slaves. They're slaves of the fucking government. If you depend on the government to feed you, house you, and take care of your health care, you're a fucking slave. We should depend on the government for nothing. The only thing the government should be for is common defense, our border security, and to make sure that the states are not infringing upon our fucking rights. The federal government should arrest 0 citizens. There should be 0 citizens in the United States in federal lockup. You know why? It's not their fucking job. Their job is to protect our border, provide common defense, which is our military, and to protect our rights from the states. They should not be arresting people. They should not be in the arrest citizens like business. They should not be in the healthcare business at all. The federal government decides what healthcare is the correct healthcare. Well, I'd like an open debate about this because I'm healthier than 90% of the fucking people my age. And I don't take any medications besides TRT. And TRT is not something that most doctors would want to give me anyway. They'd want to see me shrivel up and fucking like live like a little old man when I'm only in my mid 50s. And I can say only now because I'm on TRT and I feel like I'm in my fucking 20s again. Notice how hard they make it to get TRT and to get HRT. But everybody you know that's on TRT or HRT is so fucking happy they're on it. Like, think about that to yourselves. Men, women out there. Try to get TRT through your doctor. See how motherfucking hard that shit is. Like, see how dismissive they are about it. Right? And then talk to anybody you know that went on HRT or that went on TRT because their levels were very low and ask them how their fucking life is. When you can see the comparison, my levels were very low. My levels were in the low fucking 300s. And that, by the way, low 300s is still via the doctor still would not want to give me TRT. I would argue that anything under 500 is you need some sort of hormone replacement therapy for men. because you're a shell of your former self. Now my levels are right at about 1,000. I'm fucking operating like I was in my 20s. No visceral fat, like lean, healthy, sleep well, no other medications, zero. I'm on no medications, and I have a heart condition. I was born with Wolff-Parkinson's White syndrome. It's called WPW. It's an extra piece of tissue on your heart that oftentimes causes tachycardia. My resting heart rate's 40-fucking-5. I drink about 1.5 gallons to 2 gallons of water a day with some salt and electrolytes in it. I eat mostly fucking meat, beans, and rice with some potato and vegetables that we grow in the garden. And I fucking keep the ultra-processed food down to a minimum, normally less than 5 to 10% of my total caloric intake for the entire fucking week. Reality exists. Funny enough, here it's easier to get your doc to agree to TRT if you're in the military than if you're just a civilian. I can imagine. Well, that's the thing. You live in Canada. They want the citizens very fucking weak. I mean, they want you very weak. You know, if I wanted to eat processed food, I can't anymore. I feel better eating whole foods. Good for you. Good for you. Mm-hmm. All right, we'll take a little Q&A, and we'll go from there. Love eating beef, beans, rice, and squash with Greek yogurt. Most of my meals are that. Exactly. I mean, and it's people are like, oh my God, live a little. Like, I can walk up a flight of steps without gassing. You can't. I live more than you, technically, I think. Well, one more time, folks, here is where you can get our coaching. This is a 6-month deal. Daily communication, weekly video conferences. Please do check this out. My name is Alan Roberts. I'll probably be back tomorrow for 2, and I might be back later on this evening. I don't know. It depends on the project I'm working on. But I hope everybody has a fabulous day. And remember, staying healthy and staying away from the healthcare industry is an important thing in your life. Because just in case there was any other questions about it, the healthcare industry and medical error is one of the leading causes of death in America. It killed more the healthcare industry through medical error kills more people on the average than COVID ever fucking did. And they, in fact, cripple or permanently disable another 400 and some thousand people. So 370,000 people here, 25,000 or some are permanently disabled by the healthcare industry every year. And yet we're supposed to believe these motherfuckers as if they're like, know what the fuck they're doing. I will goddamn pass. I hope all of you have a great day. My name's Alan Roberts. Goddamn.